But deep down, they know the truth. The truth is that every great movement, every revolution, every change in the world started with a single individual who dared to listen to that voice. It is not about having the strength, the resources, or the influence, it is about willingness. The willingness to embrace discomfort, to step into the unknown, and to believe that you were created for a reason. You were not meant to live a life of quiet compliance. You were not meant to be another piece in a system designed to keep you asleep. You were meant to awaken. But awakening is only the beginning. The real challenge lies ahead, because the moment you step out of the illusion, the world will push back. The forces that thrive in darkness fear those who carry the light. And if you choose to rise, if you choose to walk this path, prepare for resistance. The question remains, will you rise, or will you retreat back into the shadows? The moment you awaken to the truth, the world around you begins to change. Not because reality itself shifts, but because you start to see it for what it truly is. The illusions that once comforted you no longer hold power. The stories you were told, the beliefs you once accepted without question, suddenly, they feel hollow. But with this newfound vision comes a heavy burden. Truth is not a gift freely given, it is a responsibility. And those who carry it must be prepared for what follows. Throughout history, those who have spoken the truth have been met with resistance. Not because their words were wrong, but because they threatened the very foundation of the world as it was. Socrates was condemned for corrupting the youth, when all he did was ask them to think for themselves. Galileo was persecuted for declaring that the earth revolved around the sun, defying centuries of false belief. Jesus was crucified not because he brought destruction, but because he brought truth. The world does not welcome those who challenge its illusions. It resists them, fights them, seeks to silence them. And now that you have seen beyond the veil, you too will face the same battle. You will find that people no longer understand you the way they once did. Conversations that once felt effortless now feel strained. Friends and family may dismiss your words, calling you foolish or misguided. Society will try to pull you back into its comfortable illusion, offering distractions, comforts, anything to make you forget. And yet, deep inside, you know you cannot turn back. Because once you have seen the truth, living in ignorance is no longer an option. But this path is not meant to be walked alone. Though the world resists, there are others, those who have awakened, just as you have. The ones who have felt the same restlessness, who have faced the same rejection, and who have chosen to stand firm. These are the warriors of truth, not with swords, not with violence, but with the unshakable force of conviction. Their power lies in their resilience. In their ability to walk through fire and remain unburned. In their willingness to stand against the tide, even when the world demands their silence. And now, you must decide, will you carry this truth forward, no matter the cost? Because the path ahead is not easy. It is filled with trials, with moments of doubt, with battles that seem unwinnable. But if you endure, if you refuse to be broken, then you will become what the world fears most. A beacon. A light in the darkness. A force that cannot be ignored. And that is where true change begins. The moment you choose truth over illusion, the world turns against you. Not because you have wronged anyone, but because you have shattered the comforting lie they so desperately cling to. At first, the resistance is subtle, a disapproving glance, a dismissive laugh, whispers behind your back. They call you naive, delusional, a dreamer who does not understand how the world works. But as you stand firm, as you refuse to be swayed, the opposition grows sharper, more relentless. Society does not take kindly to those who refuse to whisper, a lingering doubt, an unease, a feeling that something is not quite right. That feeling is not paranoia. It is not meaningless restlessness. It is the call to awaken. The fragility of human constructs becomes evident the moment we begin to question them. Systems built on control and manipulation cannot withstand scrutiny. The deeper we look, the more cracks we begin to see. The illusion unravels, and with it comes the terrifying yet liberating realization, we are not bound by the shadows on the wall. We are meant for something greater. But breaking free from the illusion is no simple task. The world resists those who challenge it. The moment you begin to see beyond the veil, society will attempt to pull you back, to silence you, to convince you that you are the one who is wrong. It takes courage to step into the unknown. It takes faith to believe that there is more beyond what we see. And yet, this is the first step, the most crucial step, in the journey toward divine awakening. Because once you have seen the truth, there is no going back. The question is, are you ready to turn around and face the light? There comes a moment in life when the world around you no longer feels real. It's as if something deep inside you is stirring, pulling you toward a truth that has always existed but was hidden beneath layers of illusion. You try to ignore it, convincing yourself that this unease is just a passing thought. But it lingers. It grows. And soon, it becomes impossible to silence. This feeling, the restlessness in your soul, is not a curse. It is a call. A divine whisper urging you to wake up, to see beyond the ordinary, to rise above the noise of a world that thrives on distraction. It is the first sign that you were meant for something more. History has shown us that those who feel this pull are the ones chosen for something far greater than themselves. The prophets, the revolutionaries, the ones who changed the course of human history, none of them lived in comfort. They were haunted by an undeniable sense of purpose, a mission that burned within them, refusing to be ignored. Moses stood before a burning bush, called to lead his people out of oppression. He doubted himself, feared he was unworthy, yet the call persisted. Joan of Arc, a simple girl, heard the voice of God commanding her to stand against tyranny. She was ridiculed, condemned, yet she did not waver. Jesus himself walked a path of love and liberation, knowing that the very people he came to save would turn against him. And now, this call reaches you. It is not a call that comes with clear instructions or an easy path. Instead, it comes as a question that echoes within you. Will you answer? Many choose to ignore it. They numb the feeling with distractions, entertainment, routine, temporary pleasures, anything to silence the voice inside. They tell themselves they are imagining things, that they are just one person in a vast world, powerless to make a difference. In a world built on perceptions and constructed truths, few dare to question the reality they inhabit. From the moment we open our eyes, we are handed a set of beliefs, a framework that dictates how we should think, what we should value, and what we must accept as truth. But what if everything we believe is merely an illusion? Throughout history, thinkers and seekers of truth have posed this very question. Plato's famous allegory of the cave describes prisoners shackled in a dark cave, forced to watch shadows flickering on a wall. To them, these shadows are the entirety of reality. They do not realize that behind them, beyond their limited perspective, a greater truth exists, one that would shatter their perception of the world. But what happens when one prisoner dares to turn around? When he steps into the light, he realizes that everything he once believed was nothing more than a reflection, a distortion of true reality. And when he tries to return and awaken others, they reject him, calling him mad. This is the illusion we live in. Society molds us, telling us what is acceptable and what is not. We are conditioned to conform, to follow without questioning, to accept the world as it has been presented to us. But deep inside, there is a